So, ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm not, by the way, Johnny, I'm not live on Instagram, just live right here. So, and I'm going to put the recording on YouTube as well. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the State of the Union, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy to be here. And, well, you know what? Let's talk about it because there's a lot of changes that have happened in the network marketing industry. And I kind of want to address, from time to time, I do a live and I think I got a unique perspective of what's going on in the industry. Being around, I mean, I've been in this industry since 2001. That's the year I graduated high school. So I'm dating myself now. And by the way, if you guys could hear me okay, make sure that the reception is good. Please let me know. Okay. Send me a text and it'll pop up on my phone here. I just want to make sure that you guys could hear me okay. So anyways, I do believe that I've got a unique perspective when it comes to this industry, because not only have I been around in this industry for such a long time, but I've made a lot of money. I've been in different aspects. I've been in the product side. I've been in the services side. I've also been in the high ticket side, and I made multiple six figures, if not seven figures, in all of those areas. And I've been making six figures in this industry since 2010 or 2011. Multiple six figures plus every year from 2010 or 11 till present. So I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of things in this industry. For example, I've seen people that we consider giants in the industry go from speaking on stages of tens of thousands of people on some occasions, sometimes hundreds of people, and being recognized with the $1 million checks and the $100,000 ring and the $1 million ring and so on. And then 5 years later, they've got nothing to show for it. That's one of the things that I want to address about the industry. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great stories as well, right? But I think, you know, when I got started in the industry in 2001, that's before the internet, right? People were a lot more loyal to their company. Back in the days, it wasn't one of those things where, oh my goodness, let me go see what's out there. Everything is readily available to me. So I could see all of the competition. I could see all of these companies. And it was just a different time. So I think people were more loyal during that time and people stuck it out more. That's also the day before scrolling, before TikTok and Instagram and Reels. Nowadays, people's attention span is very, very small, right? And so they see a shiny new object. Hey, let me go to get that shiny new object. And those are some of the things that I just feel like a lot has changed, right? And before I even go into anything, I want to know, I'm a big fan of network marketing. I own a network marketing company, right? But as an I've been a serial entrepreneur for a long time. I'm not here to knock the industry. I'm here to talk about the state of the union. I'm here to talk about the state of the industry. I'm here to educate some people. I said last year that in 2026 and in 2027, we're going to see a ton of big leaders with big names in this industry leave the industry, and they're going to go into financial services and other industries as well. But I think financial services is going to be one of the main industries that they're going to go to. Do I think that there are companies in network marketing today that are doing really well? They're doing a lot of right things? Yes, and I'm going to address that as well. That way, when you're looking at a network marketing company, you know what you're looking at. Like, I'm still part owner of a network marketing company. I'm also an investor in network marketing leaders. I connect leaders in the industry with companies, get them the perfect placement. You know, I bridge their check. I guarantee their income, which, by the way, okay, some leaders are not going to like me for saying this, but deals at the highest levels, not all of them, but a lot of deals at the highest levels are done like that, right? I know some people that would brag a couple years ago. I won't mention the name of the company, but 3 guys that made millions of dollars, over $40 million each. Oh my goodness, these guys are making so much money. And I told these people, those guys are not on the same comp plan you're on, bro. You have to build 2 legs, 3 legs, whatever the comp plan says. And I'm not trying to give the company away. So I'm being vague about I know exactly what their comp plan was. I said, but you realize that those guys, they're not building 2 legs. They're not building 3 legs. They're not building 4 legs. They get paid on the volume of the organization. Plus they have a guaranteed check. Plus they have this, plus they have that, plus they have this, plus they have that. Because, and here's the deal. By the way, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. I want to make sure that I'm not buffering. Please give me a thumbs up or comment that everything is good to go. That would be great. I'd appreciate it if you guys make a comment here in the chat that I'm good to go, or somebody send me a text that you guys can hear me okay. Does that mean yes? A thumbs up. Does that mean yes, or can I get a comment? Okay, I don't know what those thumbs up mean. Maybe you just like the video, but can you hear me okay? Anybody or what? Okay, perfect. So here's the deal. So deals at the highest levels, at the end of the day, network marketing is a business. And network marketing is a business. And then you've got people that are big hitters, right? And this doesn't happen with every company, it doesn't happen with every leader. And this is one of the things that is frowned upon by some people, and by some people it's not. Because at the end of the day, business is business and Christmas is Christmas. Okay? So any other business, you can negotiate deals. If a football player goes from this team to that team, they negotiate a deal. They get a higher contract than the day before, or they match this contract over here. I believe the same should be done in any type of business. Okay? I believe that anything should be done. All right. Thank you guys for the feedback. I believe that anything, the same kind of thing should be done if the leader's worth it. Sometimes some leaders get flown into the corporate office. Sometimes some leaders get, hey, you're making this much money. Hey, guess what? I'm going to guarantee, and sometimes the company owners do it. I'll guarantee that check. You got to do certain volume requirements and stuff, and we'll guarantee that check. That way your family isn't missing. You don't have to switch over and be worried about making 40% of what you were used to making before. How about we bridge that gap, hit these minimum requirements, we get you there. These kind of deals have been around forever. So I invest in leaders like that. That's part of what I invest in, right? So, I'm cool with it. I think one time I might have almost participated in a deal like that. I don't think I actually ever did, but I might have participated in a deal like that for myself. But I connected a lot of people to a friend of mine that used to do those kind of deals with Janess back in the days. Janess was notorious for deals like that. So anyways, I love the industry. And that's why we see lately, watch, and I want to go here to the list that I put together here. I wonder if I pasted that list. And if not, that's okay, because I've got it here. So let me share with you some of these companies here, which brings up a great opportunity for people in certain companies that are solid companies, right? Companies that are thinking outside of the box. So let's look at the bloodbath that happened over the last half a decade, over the last 5 years, right? Beachbody went affiliate in 2024. Okay. They just cut a lot of companies. They said, hey man, we can save a lot of money if we go affiliate. Maybe they had to, by the way. Sometimes they just had to do it. It's not their fault. That's what happens in business. But Beachbody's one of them. The next one in 2024, Road and Fields went affiliate as well. So a bunch of people's livelihood and checks got cut to nothing. Now, this benefits the big companies, right? The Amways of the world, even Legal Shields of the world, right? I used to be in Legal Shield, great company. There's a lot of great companies out there. One of the companies I'm a big fan of is VitaHealth. I think they're doing a lot of great things. They manufacture their own products in Mexico, and they got a great company, great CEO and founder, solid company. There's a lot of great companies, but most companies, unfortunately, don't have those things. We have a great high-ticket sales company, right? People can make great money just off their own efforts. They don't need a ton of people. So I think we got to look at some of these things that is happening. So, but anyways, My Daily Choice, that was a big company, right? HempWorks, some of you guys may know it as HempWorks. I got my notes here. They merged. I think they joined with Zenzino. Zenzino's a good company. I've got nothing negative to say about them. I'm not here to bash any company. I'm not here to bash the industry. I'm here to talk about what I'm seeing in the industry. Just want to make that very, very clear, right? So My Daily Choice, that was a big one that kind of, I didn't see that one coming. Secret Direct, obviously that happened already a few years ago, but I think they went affiliate as well. And, now they transferred to be a travel company. That's cool. So Modera, that was a big one. I think Modera happened in 2024. When Modera went, I think the owners screwed over the people. They got private equity, and it was just a bloodbath. People had their checks, their livelihoods, their business for a long time. And here's to the point that I made earlier. I meet with friends in the industry. I've got so many incredible friendships around the world because of this beautiful industry. I've been in dinners at the Aria in Las Vegas, Nevada, right? In New York City, in New Jersey, in Texas, in Los Angeles with leaders. Today, I've got $1 million earner that just flew in here. We're going to go to dinner tonight, right? I won't mention his name, but he's looking to leave the industry. He's going to do something else, right? So with that being said, I've been in meetings with people where they say, look, bro, and it's funny because when you finally open up right? Hey, what's up, Dino? When you finally open up and start to really have a conversation with people when nobody's around, like, hey, listen, we know that, you're supposed to be the most positive person in the world, but tell me how you really feel. You've been in the industry 10 years. You've been in the industry 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. Most people, not all of the people, but most people that have been around that long very often say things like this. I thought that after so many years in this industry, I would have more to show than that. I had so many starts and stops, and very often you join a company that's very solid. You think it's going to be here forever, and then they're gone. Then they're restarting again. They're rebuilding their check. I'm 43 years old right now. So I asked myself, where do I want to be at 48, 5 years from now? Where do I want to be at 50? Do I want to give myself the opportunity, the chance to be restarting over again? Yes, I've saved a little bit of money. I've got some assets. I've got some stuff. But am I where I thought I would be at the age of 43? No. No, I'm not at where I thought I would be at the age of 43. I was supposed to be worth $100 million today. I'm not worth $100 million today. At least I was supposed to be worth that. Do I believe that I am that guy? Yes, I think we should all believe very highly about ourselves. I think we should all love ourselves, talk highly about ourselves, love ourselves, and believe in ourselves, right? But I'm not there. And when I talk to these leaders, I've been in the industry more than a decade, for example, they all say the same thing. They say, listen, man, I thought I was going to be in a better financial situation than the situation that I'm in. And I said, wow, that's very interesting. They're like, yeah, bro, it's just things haven't turned out, and for this reason or for that reason. Sometimes they were a part of some of these companies. I got friends that were at Moldera with a huge check, huge organization, a bunch of clients. Moldera says, boom, we're shutting it down. Right? That was tough. And my heart goes out to them. And I'm not the guy that reaches out, oh, company went down, let me go ahead and reach out to you and try to recruit you. Now, if we have a relationship, I might reach out, hey, bro, if you're just having a conversation, let me know. But you got to be pragmatic about those type of situations. So anyways, let's keep going. Tupperware went bankrupt. Beauty Counter shut down direct sales in 2025. And Isogenics, that's crazy. So look at how long Isogenics was there, how long Tupperware, how long Moldera was there. Even My Daily Choice, Road and Field, Beachbody. So I look at that and I start to think, right? Why is this happening so often? So many good leaders losing their check overnight. Now, granted, they got their reputation, they've got a following, they could go, but that's not the case for everybody, and that's not the case for all of them. So why do I believe that, and I said this last year, and I always knew, because I'm going to talk about what my next move is and why I'm excited about it, right? Mind you, I own different businesses, I own different companies, right? And, I think the industry is great. I'm still going to keep investing in these bridge deals with leaders, right? That I bridge people's checks. I've been fortunate enough to be able to do stuff like that, right? And to have relationships and I'm always looking for companies to be able to do deals like that. And it's fun for me. I love the industry, and there's people that love it and want to be in the grind on a day-to-day basis. Bro, I do deals like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start running ads to attract leaders to do stuff, to do more deals like that, right? And it's fun. It's almost like a hobby to me to place leaders with the right company. And then, hey, man, instead of I invest in different things, but I also invest in leaders, and it's turned out very well for me. So, but that being said, in last year I mentioned watch. I mentioned this on podcasts. I mentioned this on to friends. I mentioned this on social media. I said in 2026 and in 2027, you're going to see more people than ever before leaving the industry, and they're going to go into financial services industry. That's what I said, and I'm looking at my notes here. Why? Because a lot has changed. Companies turning to affiliate, we talked about it. Companies merging. Companies just flat out going out of business. Or companies are now also competing with TikTok and Amazon Shop on the product side. Not knocking product companies. There's a lot of great product companies. I don't think product companies are going to go away. That's not what I'm saying. However, the day when you had companies that were selling an $80 little bottle like this, a $40, $50 bottle of juice, I think that's a tough sale these days. $50, $60 bottle of juice, $80 little bottles of whatever, CBD. That's not the day that we live in anymore. You're competing with TikTok shopping. You're competing with Amazon, and it's just not the same. That's why, shout out to to my buddy Alex out in Vita Health, for example. He manufactures his own products in Mexico. He does a great job. He's got a great quality product. The price, you can't even beat it on Amazon. And you would think that he paid me for this. You can't even beat it. But my point is that I look at those things. If I was a leader in the industry, I look at those things, that's interesting, right? And of course, I look at other factors, but that's one of the things. That if you got a great product, got a great price, you can still pay a healthy amount of money into the comp plan. That's cool. That's exciting. But then there's other companies that say, hey, yeah, we don't pay, product is cheap. There's no money paid in the comp plan. I don't believe in that philosophy. I think that's a great philosophy for the owners. I don't think it's a great philosophy for the distributors, but that's just me. Now, why do I think the financial services industry is attracting? And I've got friends, multiple 6-figure and 7-figure earners already going in. They're getting licensed right now. They've already gone in. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I believe that is. And it's frankly, I don't want to miss a boat. One of the things that I pride myself in is I got involved in the coffee boom, and I made my first $1 million in the coffee boom at 30 years old. I saw the trend of healthy coffee at that time. I took advantage of that trend, made a lot of money. That's when I broke out. That's when I became the top earner. I ended up getting promoted to master distributor of the company. #1 guy in that whole company, built a huge team. I thought I was going to be there forever. Then one of the founders passed away. The wife cut all the lines of credit for the company. Product couldn't get in. That was the beginning of the end. It was terrible. This is around the time where Organo Gold was at its heyday, and Houghton Bugs was making $1 million per month. So yeah, we rode that wave. I also rode the wave. I had no choice. After that, I went into a different company, which was a trading company. I rode the wave there. That's before Alex Morton got into trading. That's before David Amenitier and those guys got into trading. And I told people, this is a trend. This is a great service. If it works and it gives people decent results, this will blow up. And we blew up, built a team of 120,000 people in that company, right? And frankly, by 2020, I was disappointed. By 2019, I'll tell you a little bit of my story. A lot of things happened. I lost a lot of money in the crypto world. I lost a lot of money in traditional investments. The company I was with, the new owner came in. I won't mention his name, but he ended up cutting a bunch of people's checks. One of them was my check, even though I was qualified. And he said, hey, man, take me to court. If you're not actively building, I'm going to cut your check. And I was a guy that I was active. I was qualified per the compensation plan. But what happened is I was building a traditional business, a call center, student loan forgiveness call center, credit repair company, of which I still own the credit repair company. So I'm like, wait a minute, bro. I built this. I'm qualified per the comp plan. How are you going to cut my check, dude? This is the whole point of network marketing. I'm just telling you my story, right? He says, hey, man, take me to court, bro. If you want to come back and build, however, he says, if you want to come back and build, I'll give you your check back. And I said, bro, how can I trust you, though? You just cut my check. So you're telling me I got to keep working in order to keep my check? What kind of ridiculous shit is that? So 2019, Murphy's Law, right? If something could go wrong, it will go wrong. Murphy's Law hit me in 2019. And you know what I said? I sat down one day and I prayed and I said, I thank my Heavenly Father. I said, thank you for these lessons. I haven't been humble in the past and you've humbled me and I recognize it and genuinely thank you because I'm still alive. I got air in my lungs. I'm able to talk. I'm able to work. I'm able to build from nothing. I still have a network. I still have all of this experience and I've got a heck of a story. So I see the lesson that you're teaching me and thank you. And not only that, the sun is still going to go down and come up tomorrow. It's going to go down tonight and come up tomorrow. And this is going to be one heck of a story. And that's when I started in the solar industry. I was disappointed with network marketing, as you could imagine, as you could well imagine after this happened to me. I'm disappointed with the network marketing industry. This company had 120,000 people just cut my check. Now, granted, I wasn't maximizing the comp plan by any means, but I was still making 10 grand a month, 12 grand a month in passive residual income. So now it's gone because I wasn't actively building. Then my student loan forgiveness company failed. I mean, I have no problems with mentioning my failures. I got a heck of a lot more failures than I do wins. I got a heck of a lot more failures than I do wins. And that's why I win. They say that the expert failed more times than the novice even attempted. I have swung I've swung for the fences. My wife is a perfect example. I swing for the fences. That woman is way beyond my league, out of my league. But I swing for the fences, and sometimes, guess what? We hit those home runs. And that's why the next deal that I'm doing, the next run, the next industry is going to be a home run. I mean, because everything is created twice. First in the mind, then in the physical. I've already seen it in the physical. I've already seen people making $1 million per month in my organization, in that company. And whatever my Father in heaven blesses me with by helping so many people make that kind of money and bless so many families, I'll take it. Whatever that number is, I'll take it. So anyway, so going back to the story. He cuts my check 2019. My wife had never had to work since we had been together. And it was really rough. This is before the pandemic, so it's going to get rougher. So it's really, really rough. And our son is asleep at the time. And I say, meet me in the living room. It wasn't this living room. It was a different living room. It was a different house. So she meets me in the living room. She says, is everything okay? She knew something was up. I said, yeah, we have to talk. She probably thought it was something bad, something worse. And I said, well, listen, relax. Here's what we need to talk about. Financially, we're not doing very well. You've never had to work since we've been together, but right now I need your help. I need you to go on the field and work, right? Because she used to sell home security door to door. She used to knock on doors selling home security. She used to make like $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month selling door to door home security systems with ADT, which we still sell to this day. So she says, okay. And it took her about a month to get on the field, right? She was kind of like getting ready to get ready, that kind of stuff, a little bit of procrastination, but nevertheless she did. She got on the field and she made $8,000 her first month. And I said, how much did you make, Jennifer? She says, look, and she showed me the checks because she got paid weekly. So she showed me 4 checks. It ended up being over $8,000. I said, how much do you freaking get paid per deal? And she says, oh, like 500 to 700, sometimes $850 if the credit is good. You know, it just varies. I said, it's like in the movies, take me to your leader. I said, take me to your office tomorrow, right? This is when I'm trying to figure out what to do, right? My buddy had launched a network marketing company with technology, made me the master distributor. We were trying to get that off the ground, but I knew if it hits, it's going to hit big time. We were offering a merchant service solution with no chargebacks. But I knew it's technology. It's hard. If it hits, we're going to make a lot of money. If it doesn't hit, we're going to get in a bigger hole. But at the time, I'm in my mid-30s. So I'm like, I got time. I'll figure it out, right? So it wasn't getting off the ground. We had interested people, but the technology wasn't working. So I tell him, who's a very good friend of mine still, I said, bro, I got to go do other things. I got to pay my bills. He says, I get it. So I tell my wife, take me to your office tomorrow. She takes me to the office. They teach me the ADT script. I'm shadowing her that day. 30 minutes in, she makes a sale, makes like $600. I said, what? I remember I'm entertaining the kid. He has a karate bag and I'm teaching him some karate kicks on the bag. Some of you guys may or may not know I'm lifelong martial artist. I won a world title in karate. So I'm watching and listening to her close the deal and I'm entertaining the lady's kid while she's signing the contract. I said, how much did you make on that deal? She says about $600. That was 30 minutes on the field. And I said, dude, I'm going to crush this, Jennifer. I'm going to beat you. I'm so competitive. I told my wife, I'm going to beat you. She's like, it's not a competition, JC, because she knows that I'll beat her. I'll beat everybody. And I said, so I shadow her a little bit more. I said, I got this, man. I'm going to go knock on. So she takes one side of the street. I take the other side of the street. And I didn't make any sales that day. That was a Friday. The next day was Saturday. We were supposed to go on the field. We didn't have a babysitter. All this story is for a reason. Hang tight. The next day, we don't have a babysitter. The only people that watch our kids are her mom or my mom. So none of them were available. So I said, you stay, I'll go. She says, are you sure? You're the one, you're new. I said, doesn't matter. I saw enough. I'm going to go on those streets. I'm going to knock on doors for at least 8 hours. And I'm not getting back. I don't give a damn if I get a sale or not, but I'm going to knock on doors nonstop for 8 hours. And the law of averages, you know, I'm going to make something happen. If nothing else, I'm going to learn. So I went, got my first sale. Like 4.5 hours into it, I get a sale, made about $600. And, you know, and I kept knocking and I just made that one sale. But I said, if I can make $500, $600, $700 a day, just one sale, my wife makes 2 or 3 sales some days. I'm going to crush this. So that was the beginning of it. And then my friends kept telling me, solar's going to boom. Solar's booming. Solar's booming. And some of these guys that used to sell home security are showing me they're making 40, 50 grand a month selling solar. So I said, So I looked at a couple companies and I saw a company with an MLM model. They're still around. And I joined that company and I told them I'll be the #1 guy in a year. And in a year, I became the #1 seller and the #1 recruiter out of 6,000 people. And in 3 years, my team did $105 million in sales during the pandemic. I started late March 2020. Late March 2020. The pandemic, the worldwide shutdown happened middle of March, if I'm not mistaken. So I started 2 weeks after the worldwide shutdown. And I had to feed my kids. I had to figure this out. So I even went door knocking with a mask on. I would knock on the door and I used to walk back 6 feet. And I was pitching people door to door. And I was recruiting simultaneously. And it had a model where you recruit, that recruit gets a sale. If you're a closer, you could close that sale and you get split at 50-50. And the commissions were $6,000, $7,000. So I was making $3,000 to $4,000 commissions on every split sale. So I built a fast team. They started bringing utility bills. I started presenting and closing, got my $1 million jacket with them. And we blew it up. We broke every record in that company, especially for somebody with no experience. We just absolutely crushed it, right? And then I decided to start my own company in the solar industry. And, you know, we still have that company and things are going good. And we've got some exciting things going on right now. But anyways, that's kind of my journey, what happened with me in the network marketing industry. So for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, why are so many people going into the financial services industry, including me? As of the recording of this video, I personally, my wife has been in this industry, by the way, for 6 years. We've written a lot of business under my wife's name. My name, my license as of right now, what's the date? May 8th. As of May 8th, 2016, this is for a clip. We're going to get this clip. As of May 8th, 2016, my license has not one sold contract. Not one. So I wonder who my first customer is going to be. It might be one of you guys. Because I'm going to make history in this industry, in the financial services industry. I'm literally going to be one of the biggest guys in this industry. I'm dreaming it. I'm declaring it. And the universe, the creator, will deliver it. I'm going to go and blow this thing up. And I did the same thing in 2020 when I joined the solar industry. I said, I will smoke everybody in this company. And I smoked everybody in that company. And I'm going to do it again. And some people like what I just said. Some people don't like what I just said because I said this guy's cocky. It's not cocky. It's that I'm willing to put in the work, right? It's that I'm willing to believe bigger than most people do. I'm willing to believe bigger, faster, and put forth the necessary 12 hours a day, 13 hours a day, 13 hours a day, 14 hours a day, whatever it takes to go out and make it win. Plus, I've got a certain set of skill sets that will allow me to be that bold. But I look at the financial services industry and listen, it creates more millionaires than any other industry, bar none. There's no other industry that creates more millionaires than the financial services industry. If we look at companies, for example, like Herbalife and Herbalife and Amway, then you look at companies like Primerica and WFG, which those are not the companies I'm going to work with. But these guys, the financial services companies, have people that have made significantly more money. They're $1 million earners that made significantly more millions than these other ones. And I've kind of I'll tell you why I didn't get started in the financial services earlier. I've got some stuff that I didn't think that I would be able to get started in that industry. I didn't think I would be able to get started in that industry. And when my attorney says, no, yes, you can. Really? I said, I'm all in. It's going to be lights out. So I'm going to go through some of these notes that I've got here. So why the financial services industry? A team of 20 people can make you more than a team of 2,000 people in traditional network marketing. Straight up. A team of 20, that's 1%. A team of 20 could literally make you more than a team of 2,000, right? You don't need a ton of people, right? It's a true career path. It's a professional career path. It is a licensed career path. You don't need as many people, and it's a true career path that you could retire with, right? That you also are considered a professional in professional circles. What do I mean? If you go to a BNI meeting, right? I remember I used to be in Healthy Coffee, and I would go to these networking events, right? Like BNI or like Chamber of Commerce, and they used to look at the network marketer, as like, oh, he's in one of those MLM companies. They didn't look at me like a fellow professional. That's one of the things that always stuck with me. And in the financial services arena, you are a professional amongst professionals. And I take great pride in that. That's important to me, right? You're building your own book of business. You own the book of business, and the agency that you are building is yours. It's not building it for a company. And not only that, I've got friends that sold their book of business for millions, in some cases, tens of millions. I've got a friend that in 5 years sold his book of business for 70 million. And I said, what the hell am I doing? I said, 5 years you built that business? You sold it for 70 million? He chuckles and says, yes. I said, what the hell am I doing with my life, bro? One of my buddies who's on here, I won't mention, he says to me in December, he invites me to dinner. He says, JC, can I be honest with you? I say, yes. He says, I think you're drastically underpaid. I said, damn, bro. He says, because you're not in this industry. He says, JC, if you were in this industry, you'd be done. With your network, your skill set, your experience, you're drastically underpaid. That person that said that is on this live right now. And I said, bro, you're right. This is December. I said, I'm going to get licensed next year. And I'm going to be one of the biggest guys in the financial services insurance industry. Now, here's the deal. Another reason why it didn't appeal to me is this. I used to always think, for example, let's talk about financial services encompasses a bunch of things, but one of them is life insurance. The main one is life insurance, right? If I got, for example, somebody, I was like, yeah, they pay a fee, and then if they die, their family members get the money. It's so much more than that. Living benefits. Now you got life insurance instead of death insurance. If you go ahead and pass away, and even if you don't pass away, you get a chronic illness, terminal illness, or critical illness, you got access to the money while you're alive. My buddy told me about a customer of his, terminal cancer. He sold the policy with living benefits. Doctor says, I think 6 months to live. The guy got $700,000 from the insurance company, went to Portugal, got a procedure in Portugal. 5 years later, he's still alive right now. Had he not had living benefits in his insurance policy, the guy would be dead. As far as I know, anybody that has kids, or even if you don't have kids, you have loved ones, should have insurance. Here's another thing I noticed about realtors, network marketers. They're not set up for retirement. They don't start thinking about till their 50s and they're like, oh shit, what do I got left? I got 10 years to go, working years, 15 years working years, and I haven't put anything. I don't have enough assets. I'm going to outlive the little retirement that I've got. They don't know. Guess what? Financial services educates people. And I have a big community in the black and brown community. Those are the communities that have less service. They don't know that. I ask myself, can I get whatever I sell? Can I get passionate about selling this? The answer with this is hell yeah. Hell yeah. Look at all these athletes. I know professional athletes made a lot of money in their prime. Then they're broke by the time they're freaking 40 because they didn't have the right financial people around. They didn't have the right policies. They didn't know how to grow their money tax-free. Compound interest their money tax-free over time. I didn't know these things. I said, man, as a network, when network marketers find out how lucrative this industry is. I've got a friend on one deal last week made $60,000 on like a crazy deal. It was a huge annuity for those of you guys that may be wondering. I'm looking at them like, what? He's like, bro, now when you get into these circles, you just start closing these deals, man. And when you're offering customers something that's amazing and you're protecting their family, I've got a bunch of friends that have delivered $250,000 checks, $500,000 checks, $1 million checks. Instead of GoFundMe, no GoFundMe needed. Here's your $1 million check. I've got friends that have personally delivered those checks. Granted, those are tough conversations, right? Those are tough meetings because somebody passed away. But that will not bring the family member back, but that certainly makes a big deal. And there's too much GoFundMe going on when a tragedy happens. It's crazy. And why? Because of a lack of education. So can I get passionate about this? Hell yeah, I can. And when network marketers start to see this, they're like, wait a minute, I got a team of 1,000 people. I got a team of 10,000 people. I need 1/10 of that to more than replace my income. I can make a full-time income off my own pin. If you want to make $500,000 a year, can you do it on your own pin? In most network marketing companies, 99.99%, you can't make a full-time income off your own efforts. It must be done with a team. What I loved about the financial, just like solar, right? About the financial services industry is I can make $500,000 or $1 million off my own pin, off my own efforts without relying on anybody. That was a big deal for me. That was a big deal for me. And in 2 years, I'm going to build a minimum of 1,000 licensed agents. Minimum, mark my words, and that's why I'm doing this for documentation purposes. In 2 years, if I don't end up with at least 1,000 licensed agents, I was messing around. I just don't see how that's not going to happen. Because to me, that's an easier recruit. Now, granted, the licensing process takes time. Sure, that's okay. That's why 1,000 for network marketing, 1,000 is nothing. 1,000 is nothing in network marketing. In insurance, for me, it doesn't seem like it's nothing. It's nothing as well. But for insurance people, 1,000 licensed agents in your hierarchy, that sounds like a lot. It's not to me. As a professional network marketer, that's not a lot. We know how to sell the opportunity. We know how to train and duplicate people. We know how to motivate people. We know how to sell the vision, how to sell the crusade. And I don't think there's a great network marketer that has made the transition to go out there and do it. And I think that is a best kept secret. And I met a guy in the financial services arena, 24 years old, making $1.2 million a month. I'm gonna say that again because it wasn't a mistake. 24 years old, been in the industry 2 years, out of Chicago, $1.2 million per month. 24 years old, documented. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go tell the world about this. I'm going to go build the biggest team I've ever built. I'm in the prime of my life. I'm 43 years old. I've got a wife and 3 children. I've got the right motivation. And I'm going to do it from my heart. I'm going to mentor the people that want to get mentored. And we're going to do something spectacular. We're going to bless people. Because guess what? Dying is never going to go out of style. It's never going to stop. Getting sick and getting old and retiring is not going to stop. That's not going out of business anytime soon. Right? So I'm going to close this out because I got a meeting in 9 minutes. The biggest buildings in your city are the banks and the insurance companies. There's a lot of money in this. These insurance companies that we use have been in business over 100 years. Some of the insurance carriers that we use paid people on the Titanic. They're not going out of business. You don't see insurance companies going out of business. Like we've seen so many companies recently in our industry going out of business. So I don't want to restart in 5 years. I don't want to have a good run and restart in 5 years. I'm going to go and make this run. And I see a lot of people dabbling. There's a lot of stuff that is exciting. Shiny object here, shiny object there. And some of them might turn out to be something. But I personally, at 43 years old, I'm a grown-ass man. I've wasted too much time chasing shiny objects. I'm just not doing that anymore. I'm going to plant my flag, which, by the way, that's what it takes for anybody to be successful, right? Plant your flag and go and get busy and put your blinders on and go and get busy. And that's what I plan on doing. Okay? Let's see here. So yeah, to close this off, it breaks my heart when I've seen a couple of things. Colleagues of mine that have been in the industry decades, 1 decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, that say, I don't have anything to show for it. I've got friends that have made millions, owners of companies on stage, some of the most popular companies in MLM that right now are flat broke. And you ask, how the hell is that possible? Couple of reasons. You know, obviously decisions, but one of them is also they didn't do smart things with their money. They were never educated with their money. Literally, most people that consider themselves very knowledgeable in network marketing. If I mentioned the name, you would know that 9 out of 10 people would know these names, and completely flat broke. How the hell is that possible? You own your own company. You were the top leader of said company. You made millions of dollars, man. Surely you made some good investments with that. I see that. I see entrepreneurs in every field of life, loan officers, realtors, network marketers, you name it. They have no idea. They don't have a retirement plan. People spend more time planning out a vacation than they do their retirement. That's a big issue. That's a big void. And if there's a big void and you're able to fill that void, you can make a lot of money by blessing so many people. So anyways, I'm excited about what's going on. I do have a recording. I have my launch event on Wednesday. Okay, I had 20 key leaders on last Wednesday, and we recorded it. If anybody's interested, let me know. I'd be happy to send you the link via messenger or via text. But I'm doing this for documentation purposes. I did this with solar, and I delivered, and I'm going to do it again. And one day at a convention, I'm going to share pieces of this video, and it's going to be amazing. This very clip, matter of fact, I can see all of you guys in the future. Right now in the convention going crazy because you could do the exact same thing. I'm calling all of you into existence. JC, where are you going to bring all these people? How are you going to win so big? Where are all these people going to come from? That's none of my business. Wherever they're at, that's where they're going to come from. Some of them are in other companies. Some of them are in network marketing. Some of them haven't seen this video. Some of them are not going to see this video till a year later. But we're going to change the world. We're going to do something amazing. And yeah. We're going to crush it in this business. So I love you guys. Whatever it is that you do, I wish you all the best. My prayers, I hope that our Heavenly Father blesses you tremendously. But that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to go. And I came to this industry to chew bubble gum and change lives, and I'm all out of bubble gum. So I'm going to go change some lives. Have a good one, guys.